so this is another unboxing, but this is a retro unboxing because this is a trade paperback of a prestige miniseries that came out in 1991, I think it was, from DC. I didn't know they did a trade paperback of it, but I found it through the joys of eBay. But this is also a lesson about the risks you take ordering from eBay. So, as I said, it's a trade paperback, and they've sent it in this paper envelope. A trade paperback in a paper envelope. Seriously. It came via Every, and if you're in the UK, you know the horror stories of Every. This took over a week for Every to deliver it. They've had it in their grubby little paws for about 4 days and just decided to deliver it today on the wettest day of the week. But look at this. It is ripped to shreds because it's in a fucking little envelope. Crazy. So I'm just going to pause the video while I open it because it's got my address on still. Okay. So this is the book. It's called The Psycho by James Hudnall and the GOAT Dan Brereton. If you've never read Nocturnals, I highly recommend you get the library editions from Dark Horse. Really, really good. If you're fans of series like Hellboy, etc., they're really, really good. I'm just going to take it out of this. This is what it came in. So, paper envelope, which is ripped to shreds. It was basically holding on by a thread. The book was basically slipping out of the envelope. And the only protection they had was this plastic bag. I'm really a bit pissed off, so they're not going to get a good review from me. Fortunately, the book doesn't seem damaged, which is a miracle in itself. But yeah, so like I said, this came out in 1991 originally. James Hudnall, sadly, he passed away about 10 years ago. He was one of my... He's a writer that really connected for some reason with... I just really liked his style. He was an American writer, but he wrote more like a British writer, if that makes sense. He had very much like a John Wagner kind of vibe to his work, where he did stories about extraordinary people, but in a very realistic way. So he came to my attention in about 1985, I think it was, 86, when he released a series called Espers from Eclipse with David Lloyd initially did the first arc, and then John Burns, the British artist, did the next one, and then it became a series from Epic called Interface. So I don't know this stuff, I don't know. I'm just a savant when it comes to saying he used the comic knowledge. He did an 8-issue series called Interface with Epic, with... I've forgotten the artist's name on it. It'll come to me after I've done this video. And then he went back to Espers through Image, and he did, I think, 2 seasons through Image, 2 series through Image, with Greg Horn on the artwork, and then he did a third and final series via his own independent label. And it has been compiled, I think, into a trade paper, which is quite hard to get hold of. So I do want to get the original Espers and Interface and the later series of Espers, and I'll do a video looking at them when I do get them. That could be a while away. So I'm a bit pissed off with this because of how it's wrapped, it's dinged in the corner here. So, but fortunately, a little ding there. Fortunately, it's not too bad. So I'll just read the synopsis. So it says, 1941, World War II ends early when the US invents a drug that makes some people superhuman. Hitler is assassinated. The atomic bomb is never invented. Europe avoids the devastation of a world war. Let me just pause for a sec. Sorry about that. Just didn't want you to hear me phlegming and coughing. Like I said, I'm full of hay fever at the moment. This will be me for the next few months. The atomic bomb is never invented. Escape Europe avoids devastation of world war. History's changed. Now, the world we know is filled with walking WMDs called freelance costume operatives, FCOs, or psychos. Governments keep them on on the payroll for warfare, espionage, and whatever else they don't want you to know about. I won't read the rest of the synopsis, it goes on for ages. So this guy is one of these weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, so he's an undercover agent for the CIA, and to infiltrate these weapons of mass destruction, the only way through it is to become one himself. So, I mean, look at that art. I just love Brereton's artwork. He's very, very distinctive in his style, like Mignola is. But what I remember fondly from the series, he did a series before this for Eclipse called Black Terror, which is when I first really got into his art style. That was in late 80s, I think it was. Which, again, I'm going to hunt down from eBay. And hopefully, when I buy it from eBay, they'll send it in better packaging than this guy did. That's when I really got into his art style. But this is what cemented me, because the covers were really eye-catching. He used really neon paints on the covers. I mean, we're talking 34 years ago with this book. And even back then, 34 years ago, Brereton had an evolved style, which is see in Nocturnals. So let's just have a flick through. So it gives a little introduction by Stephen Grant again, who I think has sadly passed away, who wrote the Punisher miniseries, or relaunched the Punisher back in the 80s. So originally this was a series of 3 prestige format books, which were the big thing in the late 80s, early 90s, especially through DC. But as you can see, the artwork is just stunning. I know in the UK on eBay you can get the prestige format books really easily for a reasonable price. But when I saw this in the trade paper, I had to get this version. This is done through Image, the collected edition. As you can see, the colours are much more vibrant than what he used in something like Nocturnals. He really loves playing with colour. He's different to a lot of painterly artists like Simon Bisley, etc., and Bill Sienkiewicz, where he feels much more painterly, if that makes any sense. He's almost like a distorted Frank Frazetta. The way I would describe Dan Brereton is he does the figure work. It's as if Frank Frazetta did the drawing, the sketching, and then the painting was left to somebody like Gene Colan. It's got that fluidity what Gene Colan's line work had. So I know that makes no sense, but it's the only way I can describe it. But yeah, this was such a great story. Like I said, Hudnall did great, he wrote superhero comics like they were spy thrillers, and that's what appealed to me. Do hunt down. I mean, look at that panel, it's amazing. Do hunt down, if you can. Like I said, I've seen them available on eBay in the UK. I don't know what it's like in America or other places, but do hunt down Esper's Interface. Esper's, which was Fire Eclipse, which initially was 4 issues, then they were going to do a second volume, but they only did 1 issue of the second volume. And like I said, then there's Interface from Epic, and then Esper's came out through Image. Do hunt them down, you will not be disappointed. If you like, say for example, if you like a good Garth Ennis superhero story, but it's Garth Ennis without the gratuitous violence, without the shocking for shock's sake. It's just good, solid writing. I'd say Hudnall's like a mix of Wagner, Ennis, and Jeff Lemire. But I'm a big Brereton fan, so for me it was as well a big... just try and get it out of the glare. And yes, I've not got dressed yet. I thought, if I go in the bathroom, they'll deliver it they'll try and deliver it and not deliver it, because once I've answered the door, so I've just been waiting to deliver it. But you don't need to know that. But yeah, gorgeous. Let's just flick through. So, some more. Oh, that's good. I like back matter when it shows the concepts pages, etc. I will do a review, because it's been... Last time I got it was the Prestige format, so it's been 34 years since I've last read this book. And there's loads of back matter, really good back matter. Not like the Fantasy Therapy Collection one, where it's just like crappy filler stories. Which you'll know what I'm on about if you watch my recent video. But yeah, the artwork, just look at the vibrancy of the underwater scenes there. And you can tell this must be where he germinated the idea of doing Nocturnals, because some of these characters are very, very Nocturnals coded. And again, do hunt down Nocturnals books. They're easily, I think they're still available to order. And he did a recent series last year, which I know Geeky or Hog, who, by the way, you need to check out his channel, got the series. I'm going to wait for the collection. I think it's already come out, I'm not sure. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful book. As I said, I will be doing a review once I've read it, but I've got about 10 other books what I need to read through first. But I'm so pleased I've got this, and in this format altogether. So yeah, so that's Psycho, the slightly dinged edition because of my stupid eBay seller. Please have got it. Highly recommend you buy it. Like I said, it's available. You can get the collector's edition, or you could from. It was published by Image. I'm not, but this is harder to get hold of than just getting the original 3-issue Prestige series. So hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, this is one of my fond memories of collecting comics back in the early 90s. It's one that really stood out, so I'm pleased to have this back in my collection. Okay, bye.